Well, Foodie Beauty did another 12-hour stream. Just last Sunday on Father's Day, she did a 12-hour stream, and now she has done another one. She claims she wants to do more of these 12-hour streams because she wants to save money to buy a car. Well, I guess it's better than her making putting her PayPal out there asking her visors to buy her a car. But it was just a bunch of nonsense as usual on her 12-hour stream. She did make it to the doctor the other day, and the doctor has put her back on Ozempic for two reasons: to help with her diabetes and to help her to hopefully lose some weight. She got one of those continuous glucose monitors. You put it on the back of your arm. She got one of those, and her complaint now is she can't seal on that side while she's in the bed, and that's really bothering her. I don't get it. And now we're back. She's on a super low dose of the Ozempic, but we're back to the same thing as last time. It makes her feel terrible. She feels nauseous, this and that. You know, you got to go through a little discomfort to lose weight. That's just the way it is. So she decided she would go downtown, and she's live streaming downtown. After she said last week that she would not be live streaming downtown anymore, because last week on her Father's Day 12-hour deal, another streamer, Chantal Gucci, is that her name? Chantal Gucci? I don't know, it's something like that. But anyways, she went to the car show downtown last week too, and she happened to catch a picture of Foodie Beauty on the scooter. So Foodie is just, you know, up in arms. She shows a picture of this lady who never shows herself, and you know, she's talking all kinds of terrible things about this lady, how ugly this lady is, and all this unnecessary mean things, okay? And you know, she claims this lady is pretty much stalking her, which is not the case, because this lady had been speaking on going to this car show for some time. She didn't even know that Chantal was going to go there. So she goes downtown, and for some reason she's complaining about everything stinks. The train station stinks, the elevator stinks, the train stinks, downtown stinks. I don't know what her deal is, but everything stinks. I tend to think that maybe it's herself, because she's wearing the same clothes again. She has had these clothes on for very close to a week, if not a whole week at this point. So she, when she's downtown, she's just about running people over. She's sitting there because she took the backup alarm off of the scooter some time back, because, you know, she was embarrassed about the concierge in the building, in her building, seeing all the time she goes downstairs to get her DoorDash order. So she had disabled the backup alarm. So she's constantly almost hitting people. She's getting irritated with people downtown. They're in her way. They're walking too slow. Just extremely crabby. She's been something else lately. These past couple weeks, ooh-wee. We have Salah shows up in the stream. Of course, you know, it's getting close to payday, and that's when he shows up. And for some reason, it just really irritates me when she's, oh, hi, sweet love. Whatever. That's all I can say. Whatever. And then she goes into this hotel. She tells us it's a haunted hotel. Whatever. She comes outside. Oh, there's the police. And when the police, she starts to keep going. When the police supposedly grabs her by the wrist, it stops her and asks her, does she have anything? They are looking for pew-pews. As she immediately goes into this long story. Well, I'm a YouTuber. I live stream. The trolls call in on me. It was just last week. Somebody called a wellness check, and the police were at my apartment. And it's always these trolls. And they ask her, oh, well, what's your message, you know, on YouTube or whatever. Their answer was nothing, basically. Just she shows her life and her personality. That's about it. And she takes the people where she goes and live streams. So they were going to call a female to search her also. I'm not sure if they did or not, though. I don't think that I think they called for the female and then maybe just canceled. They went through the basket on her scooter looking for pew-pews, and then they ran her name to make sure she didn't have any warrants or anything. And she claims she wasn't mad about this, right? But she talked about this forever. And now she's going so far as maybe she can request, she's not sure if they have like FOIA in Canada. She thinks maybe she could request that 911 call, because she could probably recognize the voice of who called to say she had a pew-pew on her. Now, how would she recognize the voice? It could be thousands of people that did it. And, you know, she's going into this again. The police will find out who did it, and maybe she should try to press charges. But she's not mad, and it's not bothering her, right? But she just kept talking about this. It was never ending. Then she had some stir fry. She ate some stir fry. Of course, she had to bring something home to eat, of course. And then she's going to make cabbage rolls. Her kitchen is already filthy. Filthy. And she's making these cabbage rolls. She's not sure if the ground beef is good or not. It's been in the refrigerator defrosting for about 5 days, she thinks. And it smells okay, but she's not quite sure. And she goes through all this making these cabbage rolls. And then she ends up not even liking them. And she's complaining about the mess she's going to have to clean up in the kitchen from making the cabbage rolls. Then we go into more talking about the cat and how the cat wants to drink water out of the sink. Even though she claims she's leaving water out for the cat, I don't believe it, because why is the cat always by that sink looking for water? I don't think she's giving that cat a regular supply of water. Then she says she worries every morning, because one time she worked with a nurse, okay? And this nurse told her that most people that have heart attacks have them at 6 o'clock in the morning on the toilet. So when she wakes up in the morning to use the bathroom, her breathing's bad anyways, she's always afraid of having a heart attack. I have never heard of any statistics like this, that most people have a heart attack at 6 in the morning on the toilet. Have you ever heard anything like that? I've never heard it. Then, of course, she's going to go outside to smoke again. And she claims she's going to have to give it up because, you know, because it makes her hungry, which is defeating the purpose of the Ozempic. But the smoking helps the nausea. That's a side effect of the Ozempic. So she really doesn't know. And then this gross woman decides to talk to the chat, asking people if they ever scratch and sniff. She says, you know, anything, your vag, your butt, your belly button. Yeah, and she goes into tell us about how her belly button stinks, so she has to make sure that she gets soap in there, and her belly button is super deep. Something we could have lived without ever knowing. And why are you asking people if they scratch and sniff? And then there's some ignorant people in the chat that said, of course. There's certain things that just don't need to be spoke of, and that's one of them. I don't understand. Then she goes, she's somewhere else downtown. I know I forgot to mention this. She's somewhere else downtown, right? And it's the equivalent to like the CIA would be here, she says. I can't remember what the name of this place was. So she's scooting around on the scooter around this place. Some guy comes out, can I help you? And she says, well, I'm just, you know, scooting around, showing people. And he says, you can't film here. She's filming in restricted areas because this is like their CIA type building. And as she leaves, she hurries up and gets out of there. And she says, you know what, maybe I did see a sign with a camera with an X through it, but I really didn't think about it. I thought that was just for a camera, not for like live streaming. Oh boy. So that's about everything with Foodie Beauty. Just more nonsense, more grossness. Just more stuff that I can't look away from for some reason. Why could I not look away from this train wreck? Somebody help me, please, because I am, girl world is something else. I haven't really checked in Amberlynn Reed. She's really not been up to nothing. So Emily went on a vacation without her. And then we got Rosie. Did a pool rage not too long ago. And complained about Remy's professors. Just, you know, the typical girl world nonsense. But that's it for Foodie. Let me know your thoughts on Foodie. And do you ever scratch and sniff? No, please don't answer that. I just think that was so gross that she had to ask that. I'll see you next time.